Both Frank and Ruth decide they have had enough of swimming and that it's time to rejoin Ben and Sally. Slowly they walk back to where the cars are parked. Glancing every so often at the hordes of people on the beach, they also take time to admire the sailboats that glide up and down the river. When they reach the vast parking lot between the beach and picnic area, they find Ben and Sally waiting for them. "Guess what?" Ben says to Frank. "Sally didn't get away from ducks completely, even though we moved to a more crowded part of the beach." Yes, strange as it might seem, Ben and Sally ended up getting a lot of photos of ducks shoved underneath their noses. It happened when they took time out to admire a young couple on the beach with a troop of small children about them. The young man had an expensive-looking camera set up on a tripod, and he was taking an incredible number of photos of the children from different angles as they played in the sand. After a flurry of such activity, and after making some jovial comments to Ben and Sally, he introduced himself as an avid photographer of not only children but animals. Indeed, it so happened that he had recently put together a 3-volume collection of photographs that he would like them to see. It was a collection he proudly entitled "The Ducks of Blood River." Before Sally could find an excuse to move on, one of the children recognized Ben and happily ran over to him. Then the young woman offered them some fresh cookies she was handing out to the children. It thus became increasingly difficult to avoid the ordeal of looking at dozens of close-ups of ducks doing many different things, pluming themselves, sleeping, swimming, mating, pecking away at food, and so on. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run away, Sally fumes. But with this young couple being so sweet and nice to us, and with so many children about, it was impossible. After Frank and Ruth have had a good laugh over this, Frank asked them, "But didn't you at least have a chance to go into the water and do some swimming?" "Well, no," answers Ben, "because after we finally got clear of the duck photos and the children and moved further down the beach, something else happened. We ran into Big Bob Slummix. He was with a couple of his friends." Frank reacts to this bit of news with not only surprise but shock. For several seconds he stands before them, looking bewildered. "What's eating him?" Ruth finally asks Ben. "Big Bob Slummix," exclaims Sally. "Isn't that one of Genevieve's friends?" After Ben has made a discreet nod, Ruth says in a sarcastic tone, "Oh, is that what it is? I thought for a second it was some guy he got into a fight with." Waking up from his reverie, Frank says, "I should go and see him." "Forget it," says Ben. "He and his friends were already packing up and getting ready to leave when we ran into them." When Frank tries to question Ben about his conversation with Big Bob Slummix, Ben suggests that they leave this matter for another time. "Besides, I've got a more pressing problem. Check that right rear tire of mine. It's nearly flat." After a brief discussion, the boys decide to waste no time changing the tire. At the same time, Ruth informs them that she would like to spend a little time alone with her sister. We'll go to the picnic area on a couple of those bicycles and see you there later. After they have loaded up the panniers of 2 bicycles that are in a stand conveniently located at the edge of the parking lot, the 2 sisters ride off. They look a bit wobbly on the bicycles at first, but when they get further down the path, they roll along easily enough. They wave back at Frank and Ben. Frank and Ben smile and wave and encourage them on as if they were headed off on a great expedition.